guys, what's up? Trainer Mike here, and welcome to week 2 of the Axiom Success Challenge. I hope all of you have now seen some kind of results, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, physiological, towards your goals. I hope you're making progress, and you should be by now. Each and every week, you should be making small steps of progress towards your overall goal. Now, what I want to talk about today is nutrition. So a lot of people have been asking questions about nutrition lately. How do you structure your nutrition? How do you get the most out of your nutrition? If you've heard me talk before, you know that I talk a lot about nutrition being the most important part of a weight loss process. So we know that abs are made in the kitchen, not necessarily in the gym. So how do we get the most out of our nutrition? So here's what I recommend you do for structuring your nutrition. First and foremost, we need to start with a solid foundation, and that solid foundation should be based around calories in. We need to have a calorie goal that we're following in order to see the best results possible. So before you start worrying about the types of food that you're eating, the kind of foods that you're eating, the time of day that you're eating, you should always start with a basic calorie goal. So ask yourself this question: do you have a specific calorie goal? If you don't, get with your team leader and try and figure out what's going to make the most sense for you and your body for a calorie goal. Next, once and only once you've established a calorie goal, then we move on to the next most important thing, which would be macronutrients. So our macronutrients are a breakdown of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So let's say you establish your calorie goal, and now it's time to break down that calorie goal into individual macronutrient percentages. So the way that I recommend that we work with macronutrients is always start with protein. Protein is going to be your best friend when it comes to weight loss. So for most people out there, I recommend 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. So go get your body fat done and make sure you're consuming 1 gram per pound of lean body mass with your protein. Next up would be fats. And fat should be structured at least 20% of your overall calorie intake, up to 30%. So somewhere in that range of 20 to 30%, and then you'll fill in the rest of your macronutrients with carbohydrates. Once you have that figured out, then we move on to fiber. Fiber plays a very important role in somebody's overall success when it comes to weight loss. And for women, you should shoot for about 25 to 27 grams of fiber per day, while men are going to see best success up around 35 grams of fiber per day. Fiber plays a big role in overall satiety, or how full you feel. It also helps to regulate your metabolism a little better, and it helps to make sure that digestion occurs properly, which is something that's very, very important. And the other thing is, when you get a lot of fiber in, it actually helps to increase the thermic effect of food, meaning you burn more calories from the food you eat when you get enough fiber in. Next would be your meal timing or frequency. So let's say timing here. Now, once we've established our calorie goal, our macronutrient goal, we have our fiber coming in, then we can start playing around with our timing and our meal frequency a little bit. Most people are going to see the best success with about 4 to 6 meals per day. Always start your day with breakfast, and make sure that immediately following your workout, you get a post-workout meal in with plenty of protein and some good quality carbohydrates as well. Those are going to be your 2 most important meals of the day: breakfast and post-workout meals. And then you're going to want to evenly break out your meals throughout the day so we don't see any huge spikes and drops in blood sugar. So most people, again, are going to see the most success with about 4 to 6 meals broken down throughout the day. Next, our final thing that we want to pay attention to is choice. And that's the choice of foods that you're making on a daily basis. So the kinds of foods that you eat play a big role, but only when you've established your calorie goal, your macronutrient ranges, your fiber, your meal timing. Then we start playing around with meal and food choice. A lot of people work backwards, and they immediately start with the type of foods that they're eating, but they pay no attention to their calories or their macronutrients, their fiber, or their timing. So that's where we start picking foods that are less processed. We start making smarter choices. When possible, we choose fresh foods and foods that we know have less ingredients in them. In general, if it comes from a package or a window, it's probably not the best option for you. So that's when we start playing around with these things. But when you first start your nutrition journey, the biggest mistake you can make is go from eating one way to completely other side of the pendulum to eating perfectly everything organic and non-processed. So if right now you're eating a lot of processed foods and a lot of things out of packages or windows, we're going to start making steps towards the other direction. But first, We're going to start with calorie goals and macronutrient goals and fiber goals and meal timing. And then we go to the choices that we're making on the types of foods that we're having on a daily basis. So this is how I recommend you structure your nutrition. Start first, again, in recap, make sure you have a calorie goal established and you're logging your food on a daily basis. Then let's figure out your macro goals. Start with your protein and then your fats and fill in the gap with your carbohydrates. Fiber. Again, women, 25 to 27 grams of fiber, men about 35 grams of fiber. Timing and frequency, 4 to 6 smaller meals per day, with breakfast and post-workout being the most important meals of the day, and then the type or choice of foods that you're making on a daily basis, aiming for less processed foods with less ingredients. If it comes out of a package or a window, it may not be the best option for you. Good luck this week on your nutrition. We look forward to seeing you next week with the Axiom Success Challenge.